Hello,
Hi.
I'm Emily Priest. I'm the social worker here. I was just looking over your paperwork and I saw that you were wanting to speak about your granddaughter today. What would you like to talk about?
There's so much, I don't know if I can narrow it down.
Okay, well let's try prioritizing. What's the most important thing?
I need some me time. I love my grandchildren. I have two. I have my granddaughter, but my grandson I don't have to watch so much because he's in school. But my granddaughter it was just emergency basis, and then it was almost every day. And I was like, I can't do every day. You need to give me a schedule of the most important times you need me. But they keep expanding. I can't take the kids to the grocery store. She says, I took my children to the grocery store. You know?
So you're feeling overwhelmed by having to keep your granddaughter when you thought it was just going to be for a little while?
I'm totally overwhelmed. Because I have a life too.
Mm-hmm.
I have pursuits and interests. And the only thing I've been able to do is a little bit of work and a little bit of school. And that's not fair because I raised them. I did my part. And she's just being stubborn. She just don't want to put her in daycare.
Have you tried talking to her about this issue?
Well, I can't pay a bill like that all the time, Mom. You're my mom. You're supposed to help me when I need you.
So how does that make you feel when she says that?
Angry. I was just frustrated, and I was very patient about it. But then my grandmother fell and broke her arm. And there was literally nobody to help me with my grandmother. Nobody had a car. I mean, it's the craziest thing. I have 60-something cousins. Some of them are babies, but still, I have a lot of cousins with cars that could help, and they won't. And so it was up to me. And I stayed in the hospital with my grandmother 2 days, and that's what started this. Because then she's just like, how am I supposed to go to work? And she blamed me because she missed work, because I was with my grandmother.
So it seems like by you taking care of your grandmother, she saw opportunities open up for her so that you could babysit her baby.
Well, I told her, she needs to put her in a Mother's Day Out program. My granddaughter needs socializing. I've tried every kind of angle that is reasonable in my mind to encourage her to, move away from me.
Are you the only one that can keep her? Is there any other resources?
Baby's daddy could help. But when they argue is whenever I hear from her. Like 2 weeks ago, I actually got concerned because I sent her texts about the babies and everything, how they were doing, because she didn't call me for 2 weeks. 2 solid weeks, I didn't hear anything. You know how I got a phone call? I sent her a text, if you don't call me back, I'm sending the police over there to check on y'all. Because he has a violent history. He's been in jail for choking her.
Has he ever hurt the baby?
No, he's never hurt the baby, but there's always a first time. You hear about all these horror stories on the news. Well, I would have never thought he would have did that. And he killed everybody and then killed himself. Mm-hmm. That man up there in Chicago the other day. Everybody said he was just a nice man in his neighborhood. Well, this man is not nice. He's never nice to anybody. So he's absolutely capable of hurting them.
So it seems like you're more upset with the baby's daddy than actually your daughter asking you to babysit her.
I'm upset with her for not putting her foot down and setting some boundaries. She needs to be independent. She doesn't need to be dependent on anybody, me or him. But what she does is she goes between me and him. If I get frayed around the edges, she'll start getting him to do it. And then he gets, all, well, I gotta go do this and I gotta go do that and I can't be babysitting all the time. And I'm like, but you have a child, And my idea would be for him to watch the baby when she's working and her to have the children when he's working.
Mhm.
That's how most couples work it out.
So what does he do on his days when he's not working? Do you know?
We have no idea.
You don't know?
No. No.
How does that make you and your daughter feel that you don't know where he's at?
Angry. Because, I mean, like, she's like me. She wants some out time too.
Mhm.
But see, I don't lie to her and go do what I want to do when I'm supposed to be working. And she does it to me on a regular basis. I think that's the thing that gets me the most is I feel like she betrays me, and she shouldn't, because I'm mom and I never betrayed her.
So you're
But
feeling-
she'll go to the spa. She'll tell me she's going to work, and then I'll find out she went to a spa. Because he'll get mad at her and call me and tell me, you know what she was doing when you was watching the baby?
So you feel betrayed by what she does while you're watching the baby?
And then if I refuse to do what she wants me to do, she'll cut me off.
Could you tell me a little bit more about that?
When my grandson was small, like my granddaughter now, I missed a lot of time with him because she got upset with me because I wasn't being a grandmother enough for her. But I had a full-time job then, and I had a mortgage. and it's like, you know, somewhere in her head, she's got this idea of what a grandmother is, and I don't fit it. And so the relationship has got progressively worse with this man in the middle of it.
Have you tried talking to her about her husband?
Sometimes she's rational and she says, well, yeah, I'm going to do this. And she talks about all kinds of things that I want to hear that would put her and the grandbabies first. And then 2 days later, she's right back where she was.
So you're concerned also because she doesn't keep the grandbabies first in her life? That's understandable. Could you tell me a little bit more about that?
Okay, she gets this huge lump sum payment because she gets earned income credit, which I totally support that program because it enhances my grandchildren's lives, it enhances their total.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, though, is like last year, instead of buying my grandson an instrument so he could start in band this year, and I found a used instrument that would have been just perfect to start out with. And he would know if he really wanted to play that instrument or not. She went and had her tattoo filled in. You don't have to go around with a crappy looking tattoo. And I'm just like, yeah, because I think art goes on the wall, not on your body. But she's part of that culture, inked.
Do you think that she would come in and speak with us as a group?
It's possible. It's possible. If I can catch her on one of her reasonable days, and she's on a reasonable day whenever it's the day to go.
So you're trying to find help for her more than yourself, because if you find help for her, it will help in other aspects of your life. You'll get more you time, and her husband could have a resolution and work things out.
I'm hopeful. I'm still hopeful that it can be rearranged. It's just that it's beyond my capability. I know that. That's why I'm here.
Okay. Do you think that it might be possible for her and her husband to come in and maybe we could talk about some marriage counseling or some family support groups?
No, he would not even go to Father's First programs. We had him enlisted in Chattanooga. They have a program where first-time fathers go and they learn how to change diapers and all kind. I have a friend that went through the program and he said it totally enhanced his outlook on being a dad. And I even had this young man come over and meet her baby's daddy, and he listened to him and they talked and went on about daddy stuff, and time came and he didn't go and he made some kind of excuse, and I'm like, okay, so he just didn't get to go that time, so we scheduled it for him the next time around, even closer to our home, where he could, But he had all the free time. But he still didn't make it. And so I quit making the effort to make that.
Is your daughter married to this guy?
They don't, I'm not supposed to know that they got married.
Oh, but they did get married?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
So he wouldn't go to jail.
oh, okay. Can you tell me more about that?
They got into a fight, and he's on probation for drugs. It's been a while ago. He was on drugs a while ago, but it depends on what kind of drug it is in Georgia. If it's a class 2 felony or class 3 felony, well, they caught him with enough. He swears up and down that it was his stash, but he was doing meth. And they caught him with enough where they charged him with distributing, which raised it to even higher level. So they keep them on probation and keep tabs on them longer. Well, then he crossed from out of Georgia into Tennessee and got busted again within the same year. So he was on probation in Georgia, and then he went up to Tennessee, and he's on probation in Tennessee. And so he was put on probation to 2 different jurisdictions. He got caught with drugs again, but he swears he wasn't doing them, he was just doing them. But he cooperated with the police. And when he cooperated with the police, they were like, why should we trust you, blah, 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 and they were negotiating him ratting people out. And so he says, well, I have a wife and baby. So he went straight to my daughter, and she wanted to be in a marriage so bad that she didn't even stop to think about what his motivation was for asking her all of a sudden after the baby's here to get married. So they went and got married.
Seems to really bother you that it happened that way.
Yeah, because I'm the first one they call when they need something, but I'm not, you don't even want me there when you go to the justice of the peace to get married.
So
It's not like there was some big wedding or anything, I feel like I got gypped.
So you feel really hurt and resentful about it?
Absolutely.
And you've been taking your anger out on the baby's daddy somewhat?
I'm more diplomatic than that. He knows that their behavior bothers me, but I don't verbally attack him. I would never, unless he hurt one of my children, and then I would say something.
And I hope you would tell me that if he hurt the children as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Well, it looks like we got some good background information to start with, so maybe next week we can start making some goals to help out. Maybe you can get some more you time.
That would be nice.
So I'll see you next week, and we'll see what we can get set up.
Okay.